Hello, this is Michael from Private Pook Games here today with what I hope is a micro review. Why micro? Because it's just an expansion. The base game of Hoplomachus Victorum has been out for a good number of years. This is a new expansion that has been delivered over the past few months. I got it last week, but I think probably the last few months people have been having it show up. An expansion for it called Pandora's Ruin. There's a lot of good things I like about this. To begin with, if you are not a person who gravitates towards solo board gaming, I know me, for instance, there a lot of the times I prefer that. It's my space. I like to keep it my space. I like playing solo because sometimes you're just not invited. No offense. This is a pretty good game for that. It's built from the ground up for solo play. There are some things with it that are notable issues that I think Pandora's Ruin helps to correct. Beginning with, and I'm gonna not go in order of what was featured in the Kickstarter or GameFound campaign. I'm gonna start with what I actually really like the most, which begins with the following: the arena reference cards. So if you've played Hoplomachus Victorum, you know that there are different areas on the map, and each region has its own arena, its own map they work with. They're double-sided, and each one has its own sort of way, and it has its own reference card for how the battle generally works there. And what happens is when you're traveling in the game to try and beat Primuses and eventually beat your Scion, you end up doing several different battles, either sport or bloodshed battles, in the same region at least 2 or 3 times in a row. With only one way that can play out, it gets a little bit monotonous. So what Pandora's Ruin did, that my favorite thing that it does, is it gives you a double-sided card to replace the old ones. So what I like about this is, let's say I'm doing one in Parthians. Well, this one, I have my chariot battle, and that goes a certain way. I follow these rules, and then maybe I'm kind of sick of doing that one. I get into 3 battles, and I'm like, I'm tired of this one. In particular, there was, in the new Argonauts one, there's the shackle battles. After 2 of those, I'm kind of done with them. Well, flip it over. Do the other one. It gives you a little bit of variety, and it really opens up the amount of ways you can play this system. And this is the kind of game where essentially your game route is the same each time. You travel around, you face 3 Primuses one at a time, then in your 4th act, you face a Scion. In order for the game to stay interesting, you need the individual things that are going to be the same each time to manifest in different ways. This literally doubles the way the battles can manifest. That was a really good decision and made up for one of the things that I saw as a weakness in the base game. So awesome job with that. What else is going on with it? Well, it does a couple other things that I think are cool. Not as weighty as the arenas. That's really, for me personally, the most important. It also gives you a fair number of new sport, event, and opportunity cards, and in particular, it gives you one of each that is tied specifically to the Scion you choose. So, for those of you who've played Too Many Bones, you know that you always put, when you choose your Tyrant, you put certain cards into your event cards for that. Well, they've implemented that into this one, and I have found that the event cards that are added to this one that specifically relate to your Scion are a little less jarring in a way. I'm not saying the ones in Too Many Bones were bad, but they could be super, super difficult. So different that literally it upends your game. There were a couple of them where literally I knew if I hit that event, my whole game kind of crashed. This one, they're just cool. They make you feel the presence of the Scion the whole game. So that's very cool. What else? We got new Scions. Yeah, there's 4 new Scions. That's really cool. There's some new special tactics chips. Those are very cool. There are new opportunity units that can come up from the different opportunity quests you have. These are all really good. There are new special prowess cards. And here, while I'm thinking of it, wow, it is really nice to actually be given some cases for the cards. That's really nice. I know with the original game, the organization's pretty good. For those of you who've played it, you know that you have your stands. This is an awesome way to organize some of your stuff. But you don't have really anywhere to put the cards other than some slots in the box. They give you some cards for all the sizes, and it seems to all fit. They also, seems like such a little small thing, but you get an actual dice tray. You have a spot to put your dice in the in the stadium while you're playing, but then when you put the game away, you just kind of have to throw these in the box. Well, this is an actual dice tray, and this is the only chip theory game that didn't come with one, which seems like a bit of a it's a little jarring until you realize, oh, they put one in Pandora's Ruin. Thank you. Pretty excellent. What else? I'm gonna also notice while I have this in front of me, you'll notice that the rule book for this expansion is pretty slim. Um, if you are any sort of nerdy board gamer, you know that adding an expansion can really tack on a lot of cool stuff to your game. It can also add complexity that doesn't always result in positivity. When you're a solo board gamer, that is doubly so. And I'm not saying that complexity is bad. I love complexity, but sometimes the complexity added doesn't always um, jar or isn't always proportional to the amount of variety and base enjoyment added. Like it'll add a ton of complexity and maybe it'll make the game this much better. Well, with this one, implementing this expansion is super easy. There's a quick little introduction you can read if you would like, and then it's literally a bunch of different modules they add. All the instructions for them are very clear. It's really clear what you use with each thing, and the instructions for doing so are very simple. Are you going to add a new scion? Here's all the chips that go with it. Are you going to add the special units and special tactics? Here they are. Here's what you do with it. How do you use the event cards? Here's how you do it. Here's the ones you add. Here's the ones you don't add. It doesn't really make it that much trickier. And when you're a solo board gamer, headspace is a very big thing. There's only so much mental overhead that some solo board gamers can do. So you have to be very aware. Are you adding mental overhead that is worth it for the game? I would say for almost all the modules here, that's definitely the case. What else? There's something else I was going to mention. Yes, here we go. So this one's super important to mention. Mercury's Boots. This is a new gaming mode that I personally didn't connect with as much. However, that is not me putting it down. I think a lot of solo gamers are going to very much connect with this, and I would absolutely recommend trying it out. For me, this game takes place over 4 acts. Okay, 4 acts. 1 act for each of the 3 premises, and then 1 final one where you take out the big bad. That to me is a 4-session game. That is not a particularly long campaign. That's pretty short. I like that idea. However, every gamer is different. Some people are able to leave their game set up. Some people are not. Some people want there to be a quick setup. Let me do my thing. Let me get a couple sessions in and let me be gone. Mercury's Boots is perfect for that. It literally cuts the game time in half. Each act is 12 weeks. Therefore, let's do the math. The whole game is 48 game weeks. This one cuts it down to 24. Gives you a nice balanced way to apply that allows you a lot more freedom for how you play through the game, and then also balances it much better than I thought it would. Now, me personally, why do I not connect this with this? Because the 4-act 48-week game is fine for me. I don't mind that. But if that's a little too much, everybody has their own bit of taste on how long they want a campaign game to be. Some people want everything to be as long as Gloomhaven. Some people want to set it up, play for an hour, and be done. This gives you a lot more options to play it, be done with it, feel that whole, I'm powering up my character, I'm getting better, I'm taking on a big bad, and then boom, moving on. Does it very well, even if it's not particularly for me. Now, does that get rid of every single thing that the game could improve on? No. You still have a game where essentially you're doing kind of the same thing every time. There are so many things that change tactically about each game, and like I said, my favorite addition to this expansion just absolutely does wonders in making way more interesting battles. Is it still a game you're going to like if you're not really a solo gamer? No, this is a solo game. It's not designed to be played with more than just one person. So if that's not your thing, I'm not even sure why you got this far in the video. You should be watching something else, to be honest. But thank you for the view anyways. All of that stuff is going to be there. If you didn't much like the base game as it was, I don't think Pandora's Ruin is going to radically change it. change your opinion if you didn't like the base of what it is. If you didn't like the basic gameplay loop, that's not going to do much for you. However, if you wanted the game campaign to be a little shorter, if you wanted a little more variety in the battles, if you have beaten all the Scions and you want a few more to work with, this can drastically improve the game. A game that I already thought was pretty enjoyable. Hope that makes sense. If you've enjoyed the video, hit subscribe, comment, and let me know what you think. Please just don't be a troll, as I always say. If you want to go be a troll, go find a bridge to live under. If you want to, say what you like about the video, say some things you're thinking, even put in some things that you think, you know what, I heard what you said, but I think this. That's totally cool. I'm all about that. I love discussing games in the comments. Thank you so much, and have yourself a great weekend.